Okay. Okay, friends, welcome to the Interfaith Prayer and Discussion 246. Tonight, we don't have a speaker, but we have a topic to discuss, the purpose of life. And prayer theme is guidance. I gather Colin has got a video presentation. Is it?
Not a video, no, just something to put on screen to start the discussion.
Okay. Perhaps we have that after the devotions to bring it on the screen. And Rosine is here. Rosine, would you be able to read number 7? It's not very long. We've given it to Colin, but Colin would be doubling it. Go to number 7. Yeah, that's the one.
There's a thumbs up.
You are muted, but you raise your thumb. So number 7 is yours. Okay, we can start the devotions, I guess.
I'd just like to acknowledge the land on the people where I am at the moment, the Paramank Indigenous people of South Australia. And tonight, although we'll be talking about the guidance and purpose of life of each of the religions, it would be wonderful if we did have Indigenous people here from whichever country, just to give a perspective. I feel confident that the guidance that comes from the realms above would be very similar or the same for all people over thousands of years. But in particular, just to acknowledge the Indigenous people who are here wherever we are in Australia and probably in most countries, and who looked after the land and made it possible for us to have a good life. It might be a short delay because I accidentally closed the music. So my computer's objecting. I'm going to use a different browser.
anguish of my soul. Ooh. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, ooh, ooh. My heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare my life and death are both for thee. Ooh, they are for you. My heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare my life and death are both for thee. Ooh, they are for you. They are for you. For you. Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Ooh. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, ooh,
This wisdom derived from sacred writ and the wisdom of experience I shall proclaim to thee, leaving nothing unsaid. Among thousands of men, but one, maybe, will strive for self-perfection. And even among these who have won perfection's crown, but one, maybe, will come to know me as I really am. Hindu Writings, Bhagavad Gita.
The teachings which recommends that the work performed with the view of performing one's duty honestly shall bring forth happiness. The teaching which leads mankind to real knowledge and wisdom and reaching thee, O Mazda, is its rewards. The Russian writings, Gadas Yasna.
To drink Dharma is to be serene. Wisdom finds delight in the noble Dharma. Wind will not move rock, nor praise and blame a wise man. The words of Dharma flow into him. He is clear and peaceful like a lake. Buddhist right.
Thou wilt guide me with thy counsel, and afterward receive me with glory. Whom have I in heaven but thee? And beside thee I desire none upon earth. My flesh and my heart faileth, but God is the rock of my heart and my portion forever. Jewish Writings, Psalms 73, 24-6.
It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Honor thy father and thy mother, and you shall not love your neighbor as thyself. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Christian Writings, Matthew 4, 19, and 24:35.
If all the trees that are upon the earth were to become pens, and if God should after that we swell the water, the sea in the seven seas of ink, his word would not be exalted, for God is mighty wise. Islamic writing. Quran Surah 31, 30.
And yet is not the object of every revelation to affect a transformation in the whole character of mankind, a transformation that shall manifest itself both outwardly and inwardly, that shall affect both its inner life and eternal condition. For if the character of mankind be not changed, the futility of God's universal manifestation will be apparent. Baha'i Writings, Baha'u'llah, Kitab-i Aham.
Hearken, my brothers, and I will sing thee a lovely tune, a lovely melody. Once I was walking in the deep forest, and a lovely robin sang this song to me. Be not thou lonely in midst of trouble, nor be despairing in midst of woe. Rather be thankful for all thy trials, for without trials we can never grow. Be thou immovable as a mountain, a mighty peak firm against the blast, for wind shall blow and bitter storms surround thee, and all is lost if thou be not steadfast. Be thou a refuge for all who wander, be thou a haven for every homeless soul. Be thou a lighthouse upon the ocean, guiding the vessels through the wind and snow. Walk thou uprightly amongst mankind, be not dependent on any living soul, for God will help thee in time of danger and in times of sickness he will make thee whole. Show forth all meekness unto all people, put not thyself ahead of anyone. Be an example unto the righteous, and in the darkness be a shining sun. Thus sang the robin in that deep forest, his song of cheer ringing through the glen. Be not thou lonely in midst of trouble, for without trials we can never grow.
Okay, friends, that was beautiful devotions. Thank you for the readers that have read those devotional prayers. As I said before at the beginning, we don't have a speaker tonight, but we have a topic to discuss, the purpose of life. I've just Googled some from the writings of Baha'i faith, just to say a few things before others can start. It says here, our life's purpose is to progress spiritually by serving our fellow human beings. In doing so, we acquire the divine qualities we will need in the life to come. Acts of devotion such as prayer, meditation, fasting, pilgrimage, and service to others are inherent in religious life. This is very similar in other religions as well. Most of other religions say the same thing. So also it says here, if we have a deeper understanding of what life is and the purpose of life, we might turn our efforts towards a better existence in this world and the world to come. After we die, our physical life ends, but our soul continues to live. Living here on this planet is not only physical, but also has a spiritual purpose. What is life? When we see plants growing, we see life. The spiritual power is the power of growth. The plant without the spiritual power has no life. The same is true with humanity. The spiritual power within us makes us alive. And from the condition of our spiritual power, we see the condition of human life. The life of a man has two parts, physical life and a spiritual life. We are spiritual beings because the spiritual power we have within our souls sets us apart from the animal kingdom. So basic principle is that we are here for spiritual qualities. This is the Baha'i view. And I'm wondering whether others can talk about different aspects from different religions as well. Also, Colin has got a Word document, I think, that would be nice to see. Colin.
Yeah, I'll share that. So what we're seeing on screen is half of the artificial intelligence answer, which sounds very similar to what Ahmed was just describing. But the other half of this answer from an online search, I'll just bring it up. My computer is telling me that I should make space for this many programs to run. I'll try again. It thought it was helping me by just closing everything.
while you're doing that, it came to my mind an example that Abdullah has mentioned about this life and the baby in the womb of the mother. And he says that, phrasing, that the infant in the mother's womb is raising these arms and legs and eyes, but is not using them in that world of the womb. But when it comes to this world, it uses those limbs and legs and eyes and ears. So he says that a similar pattern is here for us. And he says that spiritual qualities are those limbs and legs that we need for the future life. And he metaphors it between the baby in the womb and us in the earth. Okay, do you want to explain a little bit about this document that you have?
Yeah, so this is I didn't write this. This AI researches the whole internet and comes up with a summary. And depending on how much we've learnt about the different religions over the last 4.5 years of this group, we might be able to comment on how accurate Google is. So what do religions say about the purpose of life? How about I can read these 4 Abrahamic religions. That they call these Abrahamic religions. I think Baha'is probably call themselves a global religion. In fact, Baha'is will call all of these global religions. Baha'i
faith is also Abrahamic.
Yeah, that's right. Shall I read this top row and then you find someone to read the bottom row? We do it that way?
Maybe each one of us read one of them or something.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll start with Judaism. Judaism, to engage in tikkun olam, or fixing the world, to bring about a messianic age of peace and spirituality, and to live a life that seeks ultimate pleasure through observance of God's laws.
Okay. Should we discuss the quotations or just go and read each one?
Maybe we'll run through them so we get a bit of a sense of comparison.
Oh yeah, Vasanta, would you like to read the Christianity section?
To seek salvation through the grace of God and the intercession of Christ, which includes loving and serving others.
Okay, Tracy, Islam.
To worship and obey one God, with the hope of achieving paradise after death through following religious laws. Life on earth is a test to see who is best indeed and to prepare for the eternal life in the hereafter.
And Margaret, would you like to read the Baha'i Faith section? You're muted if you want to do it. If not, I'll give it to somebody else. Okay, maybe Premium. What's that? Yeah, Premium. Could you read the Baha'i Faith section?
Baha'i Faith. To know and worship God and to contribute to the betterment of humanity. Life is a spiritual journey of progress, where the soul develops divine qualities to prepare for the afterlife.
Okay, Cornelia, bring it up. Okay, you Teti, Hinduism.
Who?
The Hinduism. Can you read the section on Hinduism?
Oh.
No.
He's muted.
You're muted, sorry. Yeah. I think probably you're eating something. Maybe we go next one to you. Can I ask Rosine to say the Hinduism?
To achieve the four aims of life, Dharma, duty, Kama, pleasure, Artha, prosperity, and Moksha, liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
Okay, I don't wonder whether Jung, would you like to read the Buddhist section?
Buddhism, to escape the cycle of suffering and rebirth, samsara, achieving enlightenment, nirvana, through the Eightfold Path and overcoming desire.
Yeah, I'll read the Zoroastrian one. To be true to the Creator and to make the world a better place through good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. So actually, when you look at these readings, you see that they're very similar. The purpose is very similar. Most religions say the same thing. I mean, I like the Zoroastrian one, and a lot of Persians like that, saying good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. So Baha'i Faith is saying the same thing. Life is a spiritual journey. So I'm wondering whether anybody has comments, but put your hand up. Let's go back to the Judaism. What do you think about that, what it's saying?
My hand's up.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to comment on Judaism. That phrase, tikkun olam. The speaker we had about 4 or 5 months ago, we had a piece of music which was based on those words, and then the speaker, that was what she spoke about. So I think I got that bit right. It's about fixing the world, making the world better.
Peace and spirituality. Tracy.
I must say I agree with the thing of like in the womb, that you prepare for this life, and that this life, to be here and to improve the environment, that we can be preparing for the next life, so that but it's interesting, in Christianity, it's a broad for some people, for Christianity, it's really achieving oneness with Jesus, reflecting being like Jesus, or being like God, going back to the original image that, humanity was created, and the resurrection of Jesus. In the Jewish faith, it's very much about this life and following the laws, but Christianity was a sort of a radical thing in that time to claim that Jesus came back from the dead. There was a big debate within the Jewish faith about, is there life after death or not? But for Christianity, there is no Christianity unless Jesus came back from the dead, was resurrected, and is preparing the heavenly realms for Christians to be able to abide in. My house has, many rooms, so that, preparing for that, being able to participate in that. And then there's the thing of being in God's presence, that we are, we're clay, all humanity is clay, and some are made for some purpose, and some like a specific purpose, and others another purpose. But it's all up to God and God's big plan, where we're born, and our talents, and those type of thing. And our job is to sort of surrender willingly and participate and have that sort of oneness with God. And other parts of Christianity is very much about the quote, when you visit people in prison, when you give me a glass of water, when you provide food for the poor, you're giving it to me, that God is in everyone. So anyway, it's very interesting that AI have said that, tried to summarize all the branches of Christianity in that couple of paragraphs. But yes,
I think you're right that every faith has got an exemplar. Like in Christianity, is Jesus the exemplar? In Baha'i faith, for example, Abdul Baha is the exemplar, and I'm sure in Judaism, Moses is the exemplar. So we need that exemplar to progress, to have an example to aim at. And definitely in Christianity, the Christ is very important.
Mm.
Okay, Jung.
I just have a few questions to ask somebody in our group, if they can help me to clarify a few things. One of the sentences I read through is say life is a spiritual journey of progress, where the soul develop divine qualities to prepare for the afterlife. Well, in the situation at the moment we are currently facing, life is not always a spiritual journey of progress, but go the other way to rebuild all the countries that just had a war-torn and bombs and everything. You rebuild them, you need at least $7 billion. That's what the president of America announced yesterday on a TV news channel. So therefore, we talk about the current life. People find it's really hard to find jobs, to pay the bills, and they just worry about this current life for the family, for the kids, how they, move up in life, but not everyone prepare for the afterlife. Afterlife is sound like a far-fetched advanced ending that most people that struggle with, and they're not really looking for afterlife, because if they can't pay taxes life, they go to jail or declare bankrupt or something. So it's not always the spiritual endeavor take them to liberation from cycle of birth and death. Not people just gone to the hospital, get injection, suddenly die. So they cannot escape the liberation in such a sense because they got no control out of it. Actually, the medical system will administer whatever they need to help these people. But I mean, you talk about idealistic to go to heaven, to follow God, to go to heaven. It is some people, they don't understand that. They just for them it's out of touch. They don't understand it. Even you try to talk to them or educate them or whatsoever, but their background, they haven't been told all about heaven. They got no idea. They say, well, if I don't find a job, my wife and my kids will be suffer, can't pay the bill, can't go to medical treatment, borrow money from the bank, something like that. So we got to be realistic here.
Okay, I think you didn't get the second bit, because there are two aspects of this. One is progressing a spiritual journey to develop for the next world. But the second one is assisting here, this physical life, helping people, building a better life in this world. So there are two aspects here. One is growing for the next world, growing the spiritual qualities that we need for the next world, and at the same time to help to progress this civilization into a better world. Obviously, the civilization that we have now, it's very shadowy and incomplete and not nice, but you have to aim for a better world. So that's the other aspect of this purpose. Okay, Colin, or does Young want to say anything more about this?
I say most of people, I tell you, by nature that God give them, they will have good thoughts, good words, and good actions. They try to save themselves first, save their wife, their kids, and friends, and neighbors, and everyone else. By nature, there's no question about it. But in real life, you can see it. The president of America yesterday announced we need $7 billion if we want to build again all the war-torn countries' destruction. So what we're saying is it's I don't know where the ideas come from, God or human being, but you need billions of dollars if you want to build the kingdom of God. So that is the core issue I want to talk here. Everybody talk about build the kingdom of God. Where's the money come from?
Well, I think if we had the spiritual qualities, we wouldn't have this destruction that happened in, that part of the world, so that they didn't need to spend the money. But obviously, the world is imperfect, and we had the war, and now they have to gain money to recreate it, to put the thing back to normal. Okay, Colin.
Yeah, I think Jung makes a very important point that life after death is it's like a promise, and for some it's just too far away or too uncertain when there's so many needs, individual needs and social needs. The world really needs some sort of healing. So I can see, I think the bridge is that there's perhaps not such a barrier between this world and the next world. If we're following God's laws in this world, and then we're basically entering the kingdom of heaven, and the transition to the next life is just like you're in a race and you take your jacket off because you don't need it anymore. You've warmed up. But yeah, I think that, and just on that same point, when we look at the description of Islam, they're describing it as about a hope of achieving paradise after death through following religious laws. I think this description is missing something which we learnt from Professor Harlem Rain, who is a professor of Islamic studies, and he explained to us that the Quran is a set of covenants, a set of treaties about how to live with other groups of people. So, prior to Islam, the founders of religion taught us how to live with tribes, with our neighbors, maybe between city-states, smaller groups, and between individuals. But with Islam, it created a constitution where people, even of different religions, said, we've got to look after ourselves. There's no police or no army or anything else. We've got to look after ourselves. So they had the Treaty of Medina. And then, of course, when the armies came from Mecca to attack, the treaty was what strengthened and held them together. And so a large part of the Quran, according to Professor Rain, is that it advanced the cause of peace from a lawless land to one where basically there were ways of dealing with other groups.
I like when you said that, you read that bottom section of that Islam quotation, that life on earth is a test. And I mean, every one of us would know that this life, this physical life, is really test. God tests us. And I think the reason or purpose of those tests is to build a spiritual qualities in us. And we see that when we have hardship, we definitely start concentrating on helping people and making life better, and those sort of things. Let's hear from others that haven't spoken as well. Rosine, Vasanta, Tisafi, nice to see you here again. The topic of tonight is purpose of life. If you have anything to do or anything to say about it, do so. Please raise your hands if you like to say something. Vasanta, what do you think?
Sorry. I was about to.
Rosina's faces. But I'll ask you first if you have anything to say. Let's hear it and then we go to.
Roshin, you can go ahead. Excuse me for a few seconds. I'll be back soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Rosine.
Okay, thank you, Vasanta. Thank you, Anis. Yeah, this topic is really important, and because we all have the same goal in this world, and like the writing says, first of all, to recognize God, to fulfill the principle, and to prepare our life after death. If we take an example of a game, before someone start to play a game, you have first of all to read or to learn the instructions, how the game goes. Of course, when you play, before you start to play, you have a goal, is to win. So if you want to win the game, you have to follow the instructions. But unfortunately, we human beings, we just want to win, but we don't want to follow the instructions. And this is how the discrepancy started. Because the instruction is clear. We have to develop our spiritual qualities. We have to work for the betterment of the world. We have to prepare our life after death. But what happened? We completely neglect those principles. We just confuse with the materialism and how to call it, the modernization. So the comfort bring the mankind to forget the instructions. So if we don't come back and to start to read again the instruction and try to follow them step by steps, I think we are going to solve all the problems. So it's true that we need also comfort, and spiritual writing are clear. They didn't write or say anywhere that we have to abandon our material life. No. As a human being, we need to eat, we need to drink, we need to sleep, we need comfort to live, to survive. This is normal. But the instruction we refuse to follow is to purify our heart. For example, if I can be a very good mathematician or a physician, but if I want to follow the spiritual instruction, I will become a very good mathematician who is going to create things for the betterment of the world. I'm not going to spend my time and creating bombs and disease or viruses to destroy the others people. This is the differences. Because the human being, they forgot the spiritual part and they were focusing on the material, and the material just changed them and turned them away from the real destination. And this is how we have all those chaos around us. For example, here in Rostock, something really horrible happened a few days ago was last Friday. A child was disappeared. And yeah, I saw the announcement on Facebook, and I also posted on my page, and we were all shocked. And I shared the information with my children, and we were praying. So until Monday, and Monday morning, I saw again the child was not found. And this is a small village not far away. It's like 30 minutes from our city. And I was starting to cry. I was saying, if on Monday the child is not found, it means probably he's dead. And I made a prayer. I prayed to God. I said, if the child, even he's dead, is better, help the people to bring the body back to his mother. At least she can see and she can bury her child. We made a prayer together in the morning, and at 2 o'clock, it was not even the police. The police, they were all equipped everywhere, but it was just an old lady passing by, and she found the body of the child inside the bush, inside the forest. And the worst, the body was totally burned. Was a shock for everybody who's living here, because we are all mothers and we are afraid, this can happen to anybody else. And then I was, for example, writing on my page. I sent my condolences to the family, and I said, may God make justice for what happened. And suddenly, many people, they start to write on my page, God doesn't exist. Why are you talking about God? If God would exist, this would not happen. So first of all, I was a little bit shocked. I was like, wow, it was like a bomb. What is this? I just share my compassion to the family, and suddenly everybody. And then I take a break, and I say, wow, maybe this is the way to explain to the people that God really exists, and we need God. Otherwise, those kind of situations going to continue and continue and continue. So it's becoming now a huge discussion on my pages. I wanted to cut it short, but I say, no, I should continue, because we need to understand that if we are insisting and basing our belief on the material and ignoring completely the existence of God, we will continue with calamity for generation to generation. And I don't understand how come until today, how many generations they pass through this, those difficulties, those tests, like in the Islam it was says, but until today, we still stand to insist that money is powerful. We need material. I cannot understand this one, honestly.
Yeah, definitely we need a balance between these things. Extreme of wealth causes problem. Extreme of poverty causes problem. So, but there should be a balance that what should have. As you say, I think crime has increased in the world generally. We can hear it in Sydney as well. And the reason is this lack of shame that has developed because of people going away from religion, away those spiritual principles. The rate of crime has increased in Australia drastically in the last 10 years. Actually, this last weekend, we had a baby lost in the forest as well. I don't know whether they found it or found her or not. No, Colin says no. They were looking for her, but I don't know whether they found her. But talking about that baby burned, definitely somebody has made a crime there. And it's shocking, killing a baby and burning it. I think the state of shame has come down in humanity because we tending towards non-spirituality, just thinking of material stuff. Okay, Margaret, Premil, if you have, or you, Teti, please raise.
Yes.
So, hello, dear friends, Alapa. I would like to greet everybody. Alapa.
Hello.
Yes,
There are-
I just
there
want
are-
to
Dear Margaret, there are
contribute.
also friends from all the other religions as well. So
Yeah.
we don't use a code word here. So
Yes, okay.
okay.
So whatever time, is it afternoon? Good afternoon to everybody. Good morning.
Where are you from?
Good evening.
Where are you from?
I'm speaking from Nigeria.
Okay, Nigeria.
Okay, so please, dear friends, I want to also contribute to the topic that has to do with our life, our spiritual, our life, the purpose of our life. When I reflected long ago, the love that God has for mankind, is so much that from time to time, he keeps sending educator, spiritual teacher to come and guide us on how to know him and to worship him. So without which, and those teachers, when they came, they gave us instruction, just like our sister did explain, that if we follow the instruction, we are guided, and then we will be able to achieve our goal. So I see the love of God towards mankind is great. And then we are so special being. When we look at all what other things that God created, we are special. We are special in the sense that we are able to have the opportunity to read the word of God and to understand it and practice it. That will help us a lot to really follow the instructions, that God sent to mankind through his manifestations. We don't know how to read, and then somebody will just give us that his own perspective. But if we can read it and understand it, we'll be able to know what God has in stock for mankind at a particular age. So we are so blessed with the manifestations of God, mouthpiece of God coming to mankind. We are guided. And then it's good for us to follow such instruction because it will help us a lot in our spiritual life, because it helps us to grow spiritually. For example, we all need our material life, and then according to the Baha'i teachings, it says that the material and the spiritual should go hand in hand. And then God created all of us and gave us intellect. And then through education that we'll be able to discover, our own unique potentials. So, and from that, we'll be able to learn about God also. And then the instruction that God sent through his manifestations for us to be able to, our soul, to be able to grow spiritually, so that we'll be able to be happy by the time we leave this planet. So the knowledge about God is very, very important for us, because we will leave this planet and move on to the spiritual world. And if you send us instructions to follow, we need to pray, just like we eat our physical meal to become strong and healthy. So we also need God. We need to pray to God. We need to read the words of God. That will help us spiritually. We'll grow spiritually. And then that will now, the revelation from God makes us tune our lives to what God needs, what really need us to do, so that we'll be able to be happy with God by the time we leave this planet. It's not just about the food or the material means alone. We work and make a living for us to feed our family. Fine, because God has already created everything and kept for us in this universe. That when we come, from there we learn about how to make different kinds of things. Even the oil we are having, And then from there, people selling petrol and all that. It's from the education that people were able to discover it, and then we all make use of them for his children to feed from. So also the words of God. We should not ignore that part. No matter the challenges we are facing, the challenge we are facing, to me, is just like children going to school. When you get to a certain time, you know, a test will be given, examination will be given. But when our faith is fully on God, that we as human, we can face these challenges in this planet Earth, but then it is the word of God that will give us hope. It is what the revelation from God that gives us hope, and then we forge ahead. So that is what I would like to contribute, that our spiritual life is very, very important as well as our material life. Thank you.
Yeah, it would have been nice if you had put your camera on so that we could see you as well. But anyway, you're right. We have to have both aspects of life to take care of.
Yes.
Basanta.
So dear friends, yes, with me here, I am come together. So, okay, I am here because I came for expansion phase, teaching phase in a village, and I'm here. Bring your face by young pioneers. I'm here with some pioneers in a locality.
Oh, nice.
And I joined this Zoom meeting. The network was not that good, but I thank God that we are able to. Where is your face now? You don't want the other friends to see. So with me here, I have Rachel and I have Gifts. And then the little girl here, what's her name? Glory is here. So I came for accompaniment and for the expansion phase.
It's
So
great.
that's I told them that we are
It's very
here
nice to
to
see
join
you
the
here.
meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
your
for
comment.
joining.
Please
Thank
stay
you.
with us for
Thank
tonight.
you.
Vasanta, I think you next.
I like what you said earlier, that according to the Baha'i faith, is that we are here to prepare us for the next world. So, but when we read the things what Colin shared, it's in most of the other religions also, it is almost similar, same or similar.
Yeah.
So the purpose is for us to prepare our life for our next world. So, and how do we prepare that? Is my understanding is we have to develop spiritual quality, and also by serving others and knowing God, or not knowing God, get the spiritual knowledge as well as doing service to others and improve our virtues. So that is my understanding of the purpose of life here.
I want to raise something else here. It's science. The increase in knowledge of science, I think, has caused one would say a negative view of spirituality and religions, and we now have knowledge of the history that a lot of conflicts has happened between various people of religious convictions. So I think, I mean, for example, for me, I like astronomy, and I look at the knowledge that we have now about existence and the world of existence, and it's bewildering. And a lot of people, because they feel that is bewildering, they say there's no God, because of vastness of this universe. But I look at it in a different way, saying that if such existence exists, such universe exists, there must be a creator. and then you realize that there is a God. I think Abdul says one way of recognizing God and its spiritual manifestations is through nature. But I like to stress that we have two aspects here. Although the purpose is to grow spirituality for the next world, but we live in this physical world and we have to live our life here. Jiba, do you have anything to say on this? Uteti.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you say Uteti.
Yeah. Yes. Just the topic I just agree with the one you mentioned. Just like Margaret. The purpose of the human is just know Him and worship Him for the human life. Yeah. And love God. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And the purpose of the and the science just we call it as a wing of the religion. Yeah. And the love, just the love has passed from generation to generation. Just that call it as unity, but the different unity. There's there's some from just like they mentioned, they show in Revelation progress, just like the difference in unity, they unite the family from the time to time, and next they unite the country, the tribe, and next they unite the country. Now we just unite the world. Just the same. Sorry.
There's an S stage. That's world unity, as you say.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring something else here. Abdul Baha, when he was living in Holy Land, when they had dinner, whole group of pilgrims were there, and he used to give a short talk. And these talks have been gathered together as a book, and the book is called Some Answered Questions. And Abdul Baha describes a lot of things about purpose of life in that book. It's very important to read that book if you have time with it, because it talks about different aspects. Every night they had a short talk by Abdul Baha, and he presents these aspects of life. One thing that I wanted to, I lost my track actually. What I wanted to say in the book.
Nightly talks.
Nightly talks by Abdul Baha. So in that book, Abdul Baha talks about reincarnation, about existence of man, how man has progressed, many different topics about Christianity, about prophecies of John, many topics is in that book. If you read that book, you're really familiar with Baha'i concepts on physical life, on purpose of life. So I recommend that. Tisafi, you haven't said anything. Do you want to say something about this topic? Yun has raised his hand, but I'll first ask Tisafi. Do you have anything to say because you haven't spoken? No? Go
Hello?
back. Oh, yeah.
The internet was bad. I couldn't follow the
Okay.
the lecture. Can you brief me in a very short? Can you make it for me? It clear for me?
Well, the
In brief.
topic of tonight is purpose of
Yeah.
life. What do you think about purpose of life? Purpose of life.
Purpose of life.
Yeah.
Okay. Purpose of life. That's a very difficult question, but the life as I see it, the life I'm living, it's not the life I preferred it or chose it. I came to this world by a very mysterious way. Father and mother brought you here. You are in the life. So if you are in the life, you have to be guided how to live or how to act. And all the prophets teach us also the guidance in our physical life and our spiritual life. But these two things are very interconnected.
Yeah.
You cannot separate them. The thing which is good for this, for the spiritual, is always good for the physical, because they are one entity, as I think. You cannot separate it. And when you do good, for example, when you be kind and you do good things, even in your physical body, it reacts in a very positive way. So I begin with my life. I'm here. I'm living. I'm working. I'm praying. So I'm going like that. So this purpose, sometimes it is misguided by the creatures themselves, either by seeking power, either by seeking by the egoistic nature of the individual makes the individual it thinks himself as God. So we have here in this world a lot of artificial gods, even the artificial intelligence itself. So we are surrounded with many gods which do not really tell us how to live peacefully peaceful in this world. So a lot of religions are there, a lot of governments are there. So it's very confusing. But when you come to the manifestation of God, He tells you the way how to live in this physical world, at the same time in the spiritual world. So a lot of people are very confused in these days, especially those who say that they are being educated and they knew themselves, they knew the reality of the world. They themselves are very confused.
Oh, we lost him. I think the reception was bad a bit. We go to Jung.
Yeah, thank you. I won't take long. Just some of your discussion that raised the ideas in me. The first one, you talk about tests. One of the teaching that we read through all the different paragraphs was about testing. Now, first of all, how we know the test is fair or unfair? Obviously, God will always set our tests for fairness, that I believe.
Yeah.
But you know, when people were born, some were born rich, some were born poor. And we don't really know at the end of their life which one go to heaven. So talk about the test. The poor, really poor, there's nothing to worry about. And so if we can more tests, we send more tests. Just like we examiner, we send more tests to that person. Does that not be fair? But if the rich people talk about the rich and materialistic, they're not always bad, you know. Because if you're so poor, you cannot help anyone, as I mentioned before. But if you're rich, you can do a lot of charity for God. it depends on how you do your money in life, right? So if just say talk about test, whether it's fair or fairness, the rich person come to the church, can give out $50 donation for the candle. So obviously, by credit, he will go to heaven. The poor people come into the church, they can only afford $2 for the candle. Will they $2? Give them a ticket to go to heaven. So that's how we got to think about pros and cons. And what I'm saying, material life is not bad like a lot of people still hold on. The idea of to live in a materialistic life is bad. It's a different concept now. So you get to be like pro and con about how to do testing, how to make people gain a passport to go to heaven.
Well, I agree with you that God will not test us without knowing our capacity for it. So definitely there is it tests us only to the capacity that we have for that test. But I kind of don't agree that giving $50 to the church is more important than $2, because the motive of that giver is more important to me than the amount of money that is collected. Because maybe that person that is giving $50 just want to show off to people and does not have the right motive. Whereas that person that gives to the $2 might have the love of God in him or herself to give that $2. I might not even afford that $2 and is sacrificing to give this. But so I think in the sight of God, money is not that important. But obviously, when you have money, you can do many things if you're doing it properly. Yeah. But I like to say to you that everybody goes to the heaven. Everybody that is a baby comes to this world or dies in that womb. Okay, so person that comes here definitely goes to heaven, but there are levels. I have a principle actually. I'd like to say that before others talk, and that principle is that Abdul says two things. One, that this world is the physical world is a shadow of the next world. And the other one says about criminals like Hitler and other people that kill people. And he says that they're like stones when they go into the other world. So my view is that the spirits have levels when they go into the other world. There is a level of objects. There's a level of plants. There's a level of animals. And there is a level of humans in this world. And if this is the shadow of the other world, so that structure is there as well. So the spirits that haven't done right things, there would be like a stone there. But whereas a spirit that has done holy things would be a shining candle there, helping the other spirits to grow. So, and they're the humans of the next world. That's my principle. Oh yeah, I'll go to Colin. I spoke too much.
Yes, you didn't put your hand up, Ahmed, but
Yeah.
it was a good
Well,
point.
as an MC, I'm able to do this. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I was just thinking about these different religions, and is the focus on the next world or this world? So there seems to be the similarities and differences, and perhaps the difference is one of emphasis. For example, Hinduism emphasized the next world, and they were perhaps neglecting their life in this world. And Buddha didn't deny that there was a God or a next world. There were some of his teachings alluded to that, but he said, no, you've got to focus on getting things right, your life, your mind, your practice in this world. So there's a different emphasis on between what people do.
Depending on the time, at the time of the
But
Yeah,
more importantly, I think is the bridges, the similarities. For example, the concept of the kingdom of God is a bridge because it can mean the next world, or it can mean something in our heart, which is in this world, or it can mean thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So it can be bringing the spiritual kingdom to the world. So the kingdom of God is a bridge between these different focuses. Another is the concept of an educator. For example, I think Chinese people, they're said to be atheist, I mean, generalization, but they have a great value of education. And if they could see that someone had teachings which would solve problems and make them make the world prosperous, then that would be something. Yeah. So and religions. So we have to be sort of culturally aware when we're teaching about God. We have to think about what that sounds a bit abstract. We might want to make it more concrete when we're talking to people who are looking for education or prosperity or security. And I liked Tracy's mention of the word surrender because I think that's a key concept. Whether you believe in God or an educator, there's teachings to follow, and that requires surrender or submission. The word Islam means submission. So, and I think that's the essence of religion.
That's in all religions, even in the Baha'i faith too, Christianity, submission to the will of God. Oh yeah, Roseanne has in 2 panels and has got 2 hands up, so she can talk to us.
Thank you, Ahmad. I just wanted to share quickly one story. This story was in the Islam religion. I had some friends from the Islam, and we were also discussing about the purpose of life, about the religions, and they told me this story, and I wanted to share it. So it was a story of a person who was really a very great believer, and he was serving in the Islam religion, offering everything, paying every month to the zakat, alles. He was doing everything the Quran was asking. So this person, he passed away, of course. And when he reached to the door of the kingdom of God, the angels they welcome him very well, and then God says, no way. He goes to the other side. So, of course, they send him back to the hell. And after the angels, they came back to God. They says, but this man, he was a very good believer. He was praying 5 times per day. He was paying to the zakat every end of the month.
We lost you.
Every end of the month, everything. So why did you take this decision? And God says, okay, if you guys wish to bring him back to the paradise,
Rose, you have to speak in the cone of your computer or mobile phone, otherwise we lose your voice.
Yeah, sorry, because I was getting a phone call. That's why on the mobile, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the angels, so God decided that he give the right, oh my God, sorry. Give the right to the angels to collect him from the... It's okay now?
Yeah.
Oh,
we had a bit of...
okay. Just a minute.
I think you're not talking in the cone of your speaker, your microphone. That's why we can't hear you.
Now you can hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, so after God has made the decision to bring the person back to the paradise, they went and they give him this role, how to call it, like a lighter for him to come up. So while he was trying to go up, it was other people in the hell. So they were so desperate and they was crying, "Help us, take us with you. We want to go with you. This place is horrible. Please, please." And he says, "It's not my decision. You guys should also negotiate with the angels or with God directly." And they says, "But we didn't get this chance like you got it. Please help us." And he says, "I'm sorry, guys, but I have to go." So he was trying to escalate now the lighter. And there were other people, so they insisted, they were holding his legs. And so violently, he was slapping the other people back. And then God tell the angels, "You guys understand the reason why I didn't allow them to go to enter to the paradise is because of that reason. For me, it doesn't matter how much money you give to me, or what you are doing. You are praying 5 times. I want you to love your brother. That's it." So after I have heard this story, I understood that the purpose of life is for us to love others, to accept others like really brothers and sisters, and to live in peace and unity.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So what's your second section? Because you got 2 panels. Okay.
Okay, now.
Do we want to talk a bit more about this? Jiva, we haven't heard from you, or Margaret said something. Premium.
So we are on time today at 8:30.
Sorry, I was away. I don't know what is being spoke. So maybe
Okay.
if I share, then
We're
it
talking
might be a
about purpose
repeat.
of life.
Yeah, the reading about the Baha'i quotation just now.
Mhm.
Very interesting. What is the purpose of religion? All religion come to man to show, to tell us about God and to worship Him. That is the main reason of all the religion coming to man. Why must we know God and worship Him? So that is because we must understand the purpose of this life. That's why religion come. And that's why we have to worship Him.
Yeah.
So why religion come? Why we have to worship? Why we have to understand? Because the religion, the main purpose of religion coming to this world, to mankind, is to create an ever advancing civilization. So all these years we can see how mankind has civilized from one stage to another. That's the main reason. So that man will live in a better state of life. So what happened? Why was better state of life? Then they introduce the soul. They say man is a soul. Man is not just the body. Man is the soul. So in order for us to develop this soul, what must we do? We have to do whatever is needed in the other world. Then what we need in the other world, only the religion will teach us. It is beyond the comprehension of the human mind to say what is needed in the other world. So the one example is like the baby growing in the mother's womb, mother's stomach. The baby does not know what it needs in this world, this material world. It is the mother who give the nourish the baby to develop whatever is needed, or develop all the organs, whatever is needed in this world. Likewise, only the religion will tell us what we need in the other world. Then we develop our soul, then we get prepare ourselves to the other world. This is the purpose of religion. No doubt the baby is so close to this world, it's also living in this world, but is in the mother's stomach, but you can never understand what is this world like when it is in the mother's stomach. Likewise, as long as we live in this world, in this state of being, We don't know what is needed in the other world. It is only the religion is teaching us so that we will do progress in the other world, all the worlds of God. This is the understanding. The quotation is well explained. Thank you.
Before I go to Jiva, I'd like to say that there's another book by Baha'u'llah called Hidden Words. And in there, it says, for example, I love your creation, hence I created thee. Love me that I may love thee. So these sort of things are, as you said, is about God creating humanity, man, to worship him. And to worship him, we have to love him, and he will love us back. Jiva, would you like to say something? You haven't said anything.
Yes, actually, we are here for that, helping each other. Doesn't matter of the religion where you are coming from. Human being has to be together to unite other side of the embracing the people. That's what my understanding.
Actually, Baha'u'llah in the holy book, the Baha'i holy book, the first verse in there, I'd like to read it in Arabic for you. It says, which means that the first thing that is given to the people is to recognize God and its manifestations of the day. So that's the purpose of our life, really, to recognize God. And as we discussed, there are two aspects. We are at 8:35 now. I don't know whether you want to continue or to close the session. I really enjoyed it. Tracy says no. But I think Jung has got her hand up. We'll go to her for last.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah.
I think when we, you know,
You're muted.
Yeah, so many, concepts about love, right? Love in general will involve sacrifice. Okay? You cannot say love, 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 but no charity, no sacrifice, no job, nothing. You sit there for the whole life, in the current life, do nothing, you're not qualified for heaven. Anybody understood that? Anybody, if they have common sense, they will understood that, because they said, oh, we done nothing. So how we can be qualified for heaven? Because love, what love is not only money. Love is sacrifice, love is charity, love is do this, do that, helping other people, and that, and help yourself. It means you help yourself first, then you'll be qualified to go to heaven. Otherwise, God will say, they don't even look after themselves, and now they want to go to heaven.
Yeah, it's a combination of all those things that we have to have. Exactly. It's a moderation of all things. Okay, guys, I think we are over the time as well. It's 8:37.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, it was nice.